So Mel, you're serving in the church, leading in ministry, smiling every Sunday, carrying a secret that nobody knew about. If you could sit next to a woman who believed abortion was her only way out, what would you tell her?
I would tell her to not make the choice based in fear. Really sit with it. Look at all your options before making that life-changing decision.
Welcome to Right to Choose. I'm Iana, and this is my dear friend Mel. And this is a place where healing is greater than shame. We are both post-abortive women, and our podcast here is to provide a safe space for healing and conversation about abortion healing and about the shrapnel of abortion and the things that have impacted our lives. And so today, we're going to have a very deeply personal conversation where Mel is going to share her story of choosing abortion while serving in the church. And for those of you who may be in shock and awe, like, oh my gosh, I would never. 1 in 4 women in church has had an abortion, and
1 in 4 women, period.
1 in 4 women, period.
So,
and in the church, it probably is even
to the church. It's probably
right. It's probably even higher. And a lot of women, while serving in the church, a lot of families choose abortion because of their leadership roles and things of that nature. So let's talk about it.
Let's get into it.
All right. So if you ever wondered, can God forgive me? Have I gone too far? Is this too much? Am I too far for God's hand to reach me? This is today for you. Okay. We're here. And what we want to talk about is how loud shame is, but that grace is louder.
Absolutely.
Grace is so much louder. So before the secret, let's get to Mel before the secret. So before there was a situation, kind of what were you doing in the church? How were you serving? What were you doing in church?
Okay. I was everywhere. Like I just dove headfirst in. I was singing in the choir. I was writing devotionals with the marketing team, communications. I was in worship arts, like doing some plays. And yes, you're all around wanting to serve, you know?
Mm-hmm. What season of life were you in? Like were you married? Were you single? Like, did you have any kids? Like, kind of where were you in that season of life?
I was divorced it's like 12 years ago. So he had to be about 6, 5.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So were you in a relationship, or it was just, someone we know? Because that's
no.
I wasn't sure.
No, I don't do situationships or just random hookups. We were actually in a dating relationship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Was he also in the church?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So was this like a public relationship, like everybody knew? Kind of, like y'all are dating?
Not really.
Okay. Gotcha.
Not really.
Gotcha. So then we get to the day, but when people look at your life at that point, what are they assuming about you before knowing any of this going on?
They're assuming that Mel has it all together because on the outside, she's polished, she's serving. I'm excelling at work. I'm excelling, of course, in motherhood. I'm excelling in personal, I guess, like volunteering. I love to volunteer.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, this one area, relationships, I would say dating relationships, just was an area that I had surrendered to God at that time.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So I would you agree that sometimes the people who seem the strongest are the ones who are carrying the deepest pain, carrying the biggest struggles, right? The masking.
That is so true. And for me, I want to say they were precursors or things already happening in this relationship. And I knew that I should have ended it a long time ago. But, you just keep going and thinking, oh, it'll be fine. Or that's not that.
Yeah.
And it ended up being like one of the worst decisions in my life. So,
yeah. So when you found out, what kind of hits you that you're pregnant? Like what what kind of emotions go through your mind? What kind of things happen in your brain when you are serving at high levels? You know, it's between Wednesday service and Sunday service, and it's, you know, it's classes, it's all the things, and you find out you're pregnant. What kind of goes through your head?
OMG, Mel, how could you be so stupid? Quite literally. And it was almost foreshadowing. I remember being in church, literally, and I heard the pastor, he was talking about how can a man scoop fire in his lap and not be burned? And I'm already, you know, women, we know our bodies. So I'm already thinking, oh, you know, might be preggers. No, I'll be fine. That's not that. And I tell him, hey, we need to go get some tests, you know, after this service. So, yeah.
Like right after church.
Like right after church.
Okay. What was his reaction, and what was your immediate reaction? Like, you know, you pee on the stick, you look down, you see the pregnant, not pregnant. Like, what happens in that?
I was shocked. And everything that happened after seeing the sign, you know, plus sign or whatever, took like 2 or 3 tests. Everything that happened after that was a series of unfortunate events, even though it's by my own hands. It was more, okay, you got to face this. I went into, I don't know, Olivia Pope mode.
Right.
You know, like, okay,
the fixer.
We got to do this, because this cannot get out. And yeah, that was after, you know, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm pregnant. He looks at me and says, Mel, people have babies or don't have babies every day. Deal with it. And I was like, okay. So yeah, that was the last time I spoke to him. I exited stage left, drove home in a rage. And yeah, that was the end of that.
Oh, wow. So he didn't, no participation, and even in a good or bad way. He just like, well, I'm out. You deal with it. Wow. That must have felt very lonely.
It was lonely. It was confirmation for me. So it was more so mentally and emotionally for me, like, okay, Mel, you out here doing things on your own term. Now you got to deal with the consequences. So, you know, what are you going to do now? You're going to have this baby? Or then I was thinking about fear was the loudest voice. It was just thumping. I thought about, oh no, what if I have another child with special needs? Or what if something happens to me? My pregnancies have never been easy. I don't have the support like I did. And I don't want this to show. It was like an ugly stain. I don't want this to show because I know better.
Okay.
Like, I shouldn't even be in this situation.
What were you afraid of losing?
I was afraid. That's a good question. I don't want to say everything because that sounds cliche, but everything was going. I was fine. I was, you know, so independent.
Right.
And so now this has shell shocked me. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, this is not supposed to happen. I'm going to lose control. Control is like the biggest thing. I'm going to lose control of this.
Did you feel safe enough to tell anybody other than him?
I did not. I told my best friends at the time. I did tell them.
Okay.
And my brother.
And did their reaction solidify your decision or make any moves towards what made you choose abortion?
They were encouraging as far as, Mel, we have your back. It's going to be okay. You don't, it was more so you're not in this alone, but to me, I did feel alone. Like, I graduated at 17. I was in college at 17. So I left home and didn't look back. So here I am in my 20s, faced with this, and I didn't want another child, I should say, perhaps like right now. I wanted to be in another marriage. I wanted to be a healthy relationship. I know my son still had, medical things, of course. And so it was just, I didn't feel like I could do it.
In those early days of finding out, because it all seems to go so fast, what was shame whispering back then?
Shane was definitely whispering, "You are so stupid. You thought you were doing this, and now you're not doing that, and ha ha, he left, and you thought this was happening, and it's not it. Like, you're all alone. You can't do this. You can never be a minister in the church. You can't be ordained. You can't do this." So it was just a ball of confusion.
Fear was loud.
So loud.
Fear was definitely loud. What did fear kind of promise by having an abortion? Like, because I feel like when we've made those decisions in fear, that there's some sort of, like, it gives you an alternative reality. It's like, what was it telling you? Like, hey, having the abortion is going to solve all of this problem. And did you think that the abortion was a solution? Like, that it was, or the only solution? Did you ever think you had other choices at the time?
I did. I thought about adoption. But then I'm like, oh, well, I still have to carry full term. And that's going to be,
Right.
Right. Like, I might not be showing until maybe the second trimester, but like, that's going to be still hard to do, And I thought about, well, what if I just go into seclusion and just, step away and, maybe do bedside Baptist online and raise my kids and just, go away, in the desert. I don't know.
Right.
Like Sarah sent Hagar out in the desert.
Not Hagar.
But that's what I felt like. And then it's like, okay, well, or I can do abortion and never talk about this again, and I'll be free and I won't have to deal with this ever again, and I'll never be in this situation again.
It is such an interesting parallel that you drew by bringing Hagar and Sarah into the conversation, because it's the choice that is made by Sarah, that she's like, here, take my homegirl, because I'm not ready. I'm not going to wait on the promises of God. So God says, but now here, go ahead. Here, you take my servant girl. Here, you can have her. Go mate with her. And then Sarah's like, hold up. Now she done had a kid on me and all this stuff.
Now she got to go.
She got to go because this is now, she's evidence of my sin and she's evidence of my fear and all of those things. And so it's very interesting, because a lot of times that, sin begets sin, and our emotions and our fear is so strong because we're like, well, people are going to know that I've been having sex outside of marriage. People are going to know that I've been leading in the church and talking about holiness and all these things, and know that I have not been living as pure as a white driven snow. People are going to know.
Biggest hypocrite.
And I care about what people know.
I care about what people think.
Yeah, I care about what they think about me. I care about, because this persona that I've created for them works. I'm Minister Mel. I am,
Well, not really,
I'm
but
worship team Mel. I'm the, all the things.
I
I'm this
know.
person. But the fear is like, I'm going to be found out.
they're all going to know.
They're all going to know I'm a fraud. And that is definitely what the enemy really feeds us. And in that moment, what do you feel like you needed that you didn't get?
I needed a hug.
Real.
I needed a hug. I needed someone to speak truth.
Mm.
Like, even though I have messed up tremendously, this is Mel, what girl?
Yeah.
I needed that. Okay, you did this, but now we're going to do this. You're going to walk through this. It's going to be difficult.
Right.
But now you have to deal with the consequences of your actions. It's a blessing. Child is, life. God gives us children, and it's going to be okay. You're going to get through this.
Yeah.
But really a hug and support for sure.
A hug and support.
Yeah.
And it's like you kept yourself from getting that because you didn't, like even not sharing with maybe people who would have provided that. Or sometimes we haven't seen that before from people. And so we're like, I don't know if they're capable of that. Like, especially I know for me, a lot of it is the fear factor of telling the parents. It doesn't really matter how old you are, I think, telling your parents that you're in an unplanned
That wasn't
pregnancy.
Even,
yeah.
No. There wasn't even a,
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Call my mom or call my dad.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
Not at all.
And it's crazy because we think about it, and like as a parent now, I think to myself, gosh,
bring it to me.
I would want you to come to me and tell me. But then it also begs the question of what was missing in my relationship with my parents at that time that I couldn't say, hey, mom, hey, dad, this is going on. But it to me becomes the consistent fear. It is the shame. It is the fear. It is what we believe the expectations are that have been set for us. Our families think this is what life should look like for you. And that life is kind of crumbling when we get into an unplanned pregnancy.
I would definitely say also people pleasing.
Mm.
As a child, I learned very early to just keep doing the right thing, keep my head down, and I'm fine. As long as I want to say performative, but they'll love me, I'll be fine. They'll be happy, I get applause.
Right.
And so for this was so negative and just really, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
This is what you're doing. You know better.
Yeah.
And of course, I just insulated and compartmentalized and went into protect myself at all costs.
Right. Right.
And then I got to think about my son. I'm raising him as, a divorced single mom, and it really felt so big because he was sick in those younger years. And I just knew it just would have been too much. Right. For me at that time. I thought, looking back, hindsight, I wouldn't have been in that type of relationship because knowing your worth in Christ, you know that you don't have to do things for love. And so I was so grateful and appreciative of my husband and our dating relationship. Like, he never pressed me for intimacy. Like, even before, because we met online, he said, I know I wouldn't even did that to you. I know a woman of your caliber. I see the woman that you are. You're getting your MDiv, you're doing this, you're doing that. That's not what this is about. And he waited for 2 years. So I'm always thankful, and appreciative for him for that, for honoring me in that way.
Yeah. What did that shame do to your relationship with God? Because it's one thing to be serving and doing the activities of God and the activities, but what did it do to your relationship?
Well, instantly I felt like I had done something so wrong and I wanted to conceal it.
Mm.
Although he's all knowing, right? It's like Adam and Eve in the garden, they wanted to conceal, cover up. But he's there. He was there when I did it, and he's there now as I'm making these choices.
Yeah, yeah.
So it definitely it humbled me and brought me closer.
Mm.
And it gave me a renewed sense of hope, like going through that season.
In the beginning, did you draw closer in the beginning or not until after the abortion?
Not until after. Yeah. Before I want to say I was robotic. Like it literally happened in all the span of a week.
Mm.
From finding out on that Sunday, and that next Sunday I was back in the choir on that Sunday, in the choir stand.
Really?
Right. So literally that whole week was clean up, fix it, pretty little bow, and that's it. This is what we're doing.
Yeah. I'm fine. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine. I'm fine.
Wow.
Yeah, and I buried it deep and I say kicked it into the Atlantic Ocean, but yeah, I really did.
Wow. So what shifted that made you draw to God, look for healing, recognize you needed healing? Like what clicks? Because you go from, I've got to fix this problem. I'm not bringing you into the solution, God. I got to fix this problem real quick. And then I'm back. Everything's fine. What then says, hey, you need to be healed. There's some brokenness going on. Like what kind of, where did that come from? Like what happened? Was there like a moment, a light bulb? Or, I don't know.
No, it was the silence for me. Mm. And dealing with what I had done after the fact. Mm. It was constant replaying what had got me to that decision. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. The relationship, it was, how could you have done this? Even going out of town to get the abortion. I didn't get it here. No, didn't want anybody who I think would know me. So I drove out of town. I had so many chances to turn around.
Yeah. He always provides a way of escape.
He always, even on the table when they bring the person in to make sure that, or see how far along, like literally 3 people had to come in to make sure. And I'm like, no, I have my blood work. I went to my doctor. This is how far along and it's right here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Lots of ways of escape. And you were like, nope, not escaping.
This is what we're doing. I have to finish this through.
Sounds like it became a business decision at that point. Like kind of more, like you said, robotic.
It was robotic.
There was no emotion in this. This is a checklist of things to do. Get abortion, take care of it.
It's almost like Inside Out. Have you saw that movie with, I don't think her name is Andy. I'm not sure. I can't remember her name. No, Andy is Toy Story.
I don't know.
But
Riley, yes.
And when they see her, she's breaking down and she's dealing with, oh no, we have to fix it. And she's there, but she's not there because internally her emotions, they're handling things for her. Mm. So I felt that like that little girl went back to that 9-year-old Mel who needed help, needed saving out of this. Somebody fixed this for me.
Yeah.
And I had to show it for myself. I should have brought it to God, but I didn't. And so I had to deal with the consequences after, emotionally.
So emotionally, what starts happening after the abortion?
Shame, guilt. Guilt was so loud that it was just thickening. And sometimes in service or church or, I'm wailing, people looking at me like they don't know what's wrong with me.
Right.
Just crying out. And I was always looking for ways to overmother because now I have to be this super mom, and regret.
Yeah.
Regret was there too.
Did relief show up at all?
No. Maybe initially.
Yeah.
After, the first pill stops the pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to take the second pill, which forces you into labor.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe like initially.
Yeah. You're like, oh, it's
you
over.
can feel life in your body and then you don't feel anything. It's like a void.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That has got to be such a real description of it. Like you feel life and then you don't. And most people externally think that relief is all that comes and that's all that matters. But relief, she kind of tips in for a minute, but so many things come with. And there's a difference between conviction and condemnation. And I think conviction is what wanted to show up in the beginning, where it's like, hey, you're in sin, deal with the in sin part. But condemnation is coming with shame, and it's like, hey, you're horrible, don't do that, like, yeah, you got to fix it.
Condemnation, yeah.
Condemnation, and God's like, there's no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. But the enemy literally, I still feel the visuals of when I was a little girl watching cartoons and you had the angel and the devil on your shoulders.
Absolutely.
And I feel very much like the enemy going, you're ridiculous. I can't believe you did this. Da, 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 da. And God's like, hey, but I love you.
You're not so good at two shoes now.
Yeah. Yes, very
much. The whispers are real.
The whispers are
so real.
And then even going back to church, I imagine that there's this wonder if, is everybody looking at me? Does everybody know? It's just a big spotlight that says the scarlet letter A on me is the big abortion written across my chest, because now everybody knows that I was pregnant and I had an abortion, had both of these things happen. And but you're going through this, you're dealing with it, and then you're wailing, and at some point you recognize, God, I need you, and I need more than this. This is not how I want to live. How do you find out about, because I know you ended up going to an abortion healing class. Like, how did you get from on the knees at church to an abortion healing Bible study?
Church.
It came to you.
It came to me. Yes. Because I want to say, I was suffering in silence, like still on the outside, right? Mm-hmm. Looking in, but at home, especially if like my son was away, just home, just dealing with it, I went silent. And one Sunday at church, Bishop was saying, there's a woman in here, you've had an abortion, and you think you've messed up so bad, but God is going to use your story. And we have an organization here today. If you would just step out in faith, surrender to Him, He will take this pain away. So, of course, I'm like, okay, looking around, and I finally go to the room, after service, and I want to volunteer. And they say if you've had an abortion, you have to go through this 10-week Bible study class for healing. And I was immediately like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, right. No. So conviction sets in, like, you're going to do this. And right. It's okay. Right. You need to do this. So I sign up for the class, and it was just a beautiful transformation, especially one of the classes is the character of God. So I had always had the visual that God was this Oz character, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, untouchable, behind the scenes, orchestrating everything. You could never get to him.
Yeah.
But when you go through and read about his relentless love for us, like he gives us new mercies every day. Every day. And he's always with us and so near and dear to us. And I clung to a verse in Isaiah about God is your husband and he's restoring you. He will restore the pain from your past and the wife when you were a youth. He's healing what the locusts have eaten. He will no longer turn away his face from you. And I just clung to that. And the women who were my facilitators, they're literally lifers. I met you too. But literally, we are a decade plus in this. And I promised God that I would never be in this position again. And when he finds, thinks it's time for me to go out and go forth, go tell it on the mountain.
Go
over the hills and everywhere. That it's not the end all be all. Life after abortion for me personally was not, it's not just, it's over and done with. Condemnation was really loud, Shame was definitely loud. And I'm thankful that I still was able to come and show up externally. And I'm glad I kept coming. And, church, when did they talk about abortion in church? Like, really?
Right.
So it was amazing that this organization, was there. And I was able to get the healing that I needed.
The crazy part is the level of specificity of the bishop talking about, you are here, you have had an abortion, and God's going to use your story, and here we are. And what's crazy is we don't know what that looks like at the time. No. Even coming out of the class, I bet you didn't see coming out of the class 10 years ago. Did you imagine that one day you'd be sitting telling your story to people across the interwebs?
Absolutely not.
Right?
Oh my goodness, no. Even when we were going to do this, I'm like, okay, let's change, that episode.
Yeah.
Let's not do that.
It's interesting because even walking through healing and healing is one. We talked last time about healing not being linear.
Absolutely.
But that healing is a process. Like there's miracles that happen instantaneous, but healing is a process, right? And when we walk through healing, there are stages of it. And God is such a gracious God that he doesn't immediately make us go, dig deep and get all the stuff out at the same time. He allows us gracefully to walk through healing, to walk through these pains, right? So you walk through the abortion healing class and it's like, okay, I'm good. I've walked through it. And then someone says, hey, come tell your story to a bunch of people on the internet. And you're like, okay, I'm good. But I mean, like that's a lot. But God's like, this okay. This continues the healing. And that's what's so beautiful about him is that he's like, okay, that was a layer. Now I'm going to do a layer. It's, it's the old Shrek. It's like layers of onions. He's just peeling back the layers. And sometimes these little pieces become even more beautiful parts of our story. And it happens in the seasons that it needs to happen. I mean, there are women right now who are listening, who are watching, who are like, oh, wow, she's telling my story. Like, what do you mean? You were in the church. That was me. I was in the church. I was serving in ministry. My daughter was serving in ministry. Or, there are families who have experienced, I have had the honor of walking beside a lot of women who have had abortion in their story. And I remember a woman who was a daughter of a pastor and of the lead pastor of a church. And she was a cheerleader in the choir. She was, the pastor's daughter and all the things. And she got pregnant and they were like, nope. And they took her right on to the hospital and had her back at cheerleading practice the next week.
You can be in the church and not be healed.
Yes.
You could be in the church and not be whole.
Yes.
The Bible should be, examining, searching your heart through and through, if you allow it to.
Yeah.
Because so many people can show up, but they don't do the work.
Right.
So just like the walls outside the church, you're going to come into situations and you have to know how to navigate those things. Right. So the woman I am today would have never even walked through that season. It wouldn't have been a thought in my mind or even engaged into those types of dating relationships. I would have stood my ground. Like, no, This is what I'm doing. And if you are not for that, then so be it.
How has God redeemed your story? Like, I know pieces of it, but the people don't know. But like, how has God redeemed your story? You've alluded to your husband. You've alluded to your son. But just kind of what has God done since the healing has begun? Because again, we know it's a process. But what's the redemption story look like for Mel?
Peace.
Hey.
That surpasses all understanding. When I tell you I go home peaceful, I'm not working, extra hours because I don't want to go home.
Yes.
I'm not drinking or partying or, entertaining other relationships because I'm so full as Mel, right? And then the support that my husband gives, like he was everything I prayed for, and then God put some more of his little sprinkles on top of that.
Yeah.
And I purposely pray for things that I knew would not exist.
I know.
Because he can't be real. He cannot be real.
Ladies and gentlemen, I can attest that he is real. I have indeed seen and spent time with him, but he's definitely real.
Right? It's just our dating.
Yeah.
Was just a fairy tale. It really was. So, for me, life is peaceful now. And then I have a new baby, postpartum.
Yay!
She's a blessing. You were there, when it got real in that pregnancy. How you said different seasons. I'm actually at a place where I can pour out. Because I have the support.
Yeah.
I have a good, solid foundation.
Yeah.
And even when doing this podcast, you get pokes and people saying things or, oh, I don't want to be, not ending friendships because you're talking about this. Okay, it's okay. Right? God will never leave me or forsake me. And if my life is, a love offering poured out for him, that's what I'm going to do.
It's amazing that your redemption story can include such loss and it be a blessing. Because even in the pain of losing relationships and people that you thought were going to be there, it's people who you're like, oh, these are about to be my riders. And then you are vocal about this very personal thing, but a situation that is impacting communities on communities, women on women, families on families. But I appreciate the fact that you included the loss in your redemption story, because he is redeeming it and even exposing some things in this season where, you know, we are willingly putting our business on the street right now by having the whole interwebs. Hello, internet.
I wish we could put it in the Spider-Verse. So it's not. It's not. Just don't go to that one. Don't go to that one. Just go past that one.
It's what's so beautiful is there are women who are going to be listening. There are women who are going to watch this. There are people who are going to see this who feel like that old Mel, who feel the shame, who feel alone. What do you want that woman to know? Like, what do you want her to know at this point?
I want her to know that she's loved. In this season, in that season, the season to come. And you're never alone. Whether you're praying or reaching out to someone, if you just tell someone, I know they will definitely show up for you.
Yeah.
Like, don't think you have to carry it all on your own. Jesus, even in ministry, you know, he had his 3 solids, then the other disciples.
Yeah.
So if Jesus didn't walk this alone, we can't think to walk alone.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing is you're never too far gone from the grace of God.
Come on.
Ever.
Yeah. He is near to the brokenhearted, and he is definitely with us and will never leave us and never forsake us. We move. He doesn't. We're the ones who turn our backs or run away. But he's like, I'm still here.
Girl, because we can wonder. The wanderers. Like,
we were just like, la di da, I don't want to do
like the sheep.
The sheep are just a mess. And he's like,
come back.
As the good shepherd.
Come back.
Go on with the hook and come on, let me bring you back.
And he's not waiting for us to mess up. He's not. He's not waiting for us to mess up.
And he's not doing the I told you so's.
No.
And the look at theirs and all the things. And I wish that there was a way to sometimes go back to that girl in the clinic, like the girl who had her blood work and all that kind of stuff. What would you go and say to that Mel?
Girl, if you don't get... No, I'm joking.
No, real. Get up.
What are you doing? No. I would look at her and tell her, are you sure this is what you really want to do? Right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and what would God say about this?
Have you talked to him?
Have you talked to him, right? Because I don't think this is not what he would have chosen. Because what would it have looked like, you know, if you got up off his table, had this child, renewed your heart, repented, and still walked in ministry.
Amen.
But definitely get up. Please get up.
Yeah. Please get up. No matter where your story starts, no matter where it is right now, it doesn't have to end there. Healing is a process. Healing is not linear. And God speaks to us in the most unique ways. Hope is real. You don't have to walk this alone. You don't have to walk this alone. God's grace is louder than the shame that has been whispered, the fear that has been perpetrated. We are so thankful that you've joined us for a right to choose. And next episode, what are we talking about? Can God really forgive? That's always a good one. It's always a good question. So we hope that you join us next time. All right, to choose. Mel, I want to thank you before we close. I want to thank you for being vulnerable and sharing your story with us and just being transparent, letting us all know that we are not alone, that we too all have sinned and fallen short, and that He redeems our stories. I mean, thank you.
You're welcome. And He loves us most of all.
He does.
I know women, we look for love in all the wrong places. So if I can tell any woman listening today, just know you are loved unconditionally.
Amen. Join us next time on Right to Choose.